Just a couple years ago, my days were filled with bad habits. I used to scroll TikToks for hours every single day. I used to binge Netflix. I used to play video games every day. I used to procrastinate on my studying and I would skip going to the gym. And the thing is, I knew that all of these things were bad habits. And I even knew what good habits that I should be doing. The problem was I couldn't get myself to do the good habits consistently. And in this video, I'm going to share with you a few mindset shifts that help me force my brain to stick to the good habits and avoid the bad ones. All your life, your actions have been shaping your identity. If you spent the last 20 years of your life not going to the gym, whether you like it or not, you don't see yourself as someone who goes to the gym. Even if you want to start going to the gym, the habit doesn't stick because it doesn't align with your self-image, and that's why it's so hard to stay consistent. Now, if you change your identity and you convince yourself that you are the type of person who goes to the gym, then your actions will follow. Your brain will always act in a way that's consistent with how you perceive yourself. And this is an idea that comes from the book Atomic Habits. And it's the idea that you kind of have to let go of the old version of yourself for the new one to emerge. And sometimes that this can take quite a big change. So when you move cities or change the way you dress or even cut your hair, these are things that really catalyze this change. And for me, it was when I moved from my on-campus apartment to a house off campus, and I was surrounded by new people in a new environment, and I changed my identity into someone who worked out and who was confident and who ate healthy. That's why people change so much, for example, over the summer back in high school. And that's why people change so much over the pandemic, because this change in environment gave them a chance to reinvent themselves. And the new identity is what makes your good habits stick. We as humans are visual creatures. If your phone is in your line of sight, you will inevitably end up scrolling. If you have junk food in your pantry, you will inevitably end up eating it, even if you told yourself that you wouldn't. No matter how much willpower that you think you have, if you want to force your brain to stick to the good habits, you need to make the good habits easy and the bad habits difficult. For example, I don't keep my phone in my room anymore. And that one small change saved me hours in screen time every single day. And it wasn't even that hard to just move my phone charger from next to my bed to the living room. And now the place where my phone lives is in the living room instead of my room, and it saved me hours every single day. If your bad habit is video games, just uninstall the game from your computer. Even if you have the temptation, it takes a lot more effort to try to reinstall the game every single time that you want to play it. If your problem is junk food, then don't buy junk food and leave it in your house. It's a lot harder to go out and buy the junk food than to just grab it from your pantry. So you need to set up your environment so that you're not constantly tempted by the bad habits. If you have to decide between whether or not you're going to do a bad habit, you've already lost. That's why I schedule every single hour of my day the night before. That way, I don't have any decision fatigue, so that in the moment, I don't actually have to make any decisions and I can't be tempted by these random urges because I already know exactly what I need to do. And I do that instead of thinking about playing video games or eating junk food or anything like that. The same principle applies to the good habits as well. If you want to start flossing every night, you can stack it with a habit that you already have. For example, if you already brush your teeth every night and you want to add flossing to it, you keep the floss right next to your toothbrush so that you just do the flossing every time you brush your teeth. That's called habit stacking. The same thing applies for if you want to track your macros and weigh out every single thing that you eat. Every time you eat, just keep the food scale out on the kitchen counter so it's right there. So when you're already making the food, it's just right there. Make it super obvious. If you want to start going to the gym after work, keep your gym clothes out so that they're like on your desk or something right when you come back so you can easily change. And don't forget to make the good habits rewarding. When you floss your teeth, you can see the little plaque things come off of your teeth and it feels satisfying. When you go to the gym and you see yourself in a pump, it feels good. And when you check off the little box in a habit tracker, something like the one I have right there, it feels good. You get a little dopamine hit every time you feel rewarded. And what this does is it creates a habit loop in your brain. And it's like telling your brain that doing the good habit felt good. And therefore, your brain will start to crave to do it again. And that's how you make the good habits stick. Now, most people can start a good habit, but they don't stick to it. And the reason for that is because they're setting the bar way too high. And this is something that I struggle with a lot because I can be really hard on myself. For example, I used to tell myself that a successful day meant that I got all of my tasks done, I journaled, I meditated, I went to the gym, and I ate zero junk food. But when I first started out, only maybe 10% of my days actually looked like that. And inevitably, what happened was like only 10% of my days looked like that. And then for the other 90% of the days, I would feel discouraged. And then I would end up quitting, even though I was still doing better than what I would have been doing if I didn't set that goal to begin with. The solution sounds counterintuitive, but it actually works. And it's to lower the bar for success. Set your goal so small that you literally cannot fail to do it every single day. For example, if your goal is to go to the gym, set your goal to go to the gym for just 5 minutes or even 30 seconds. You can even just set your goal to just show up to the gym every single day. The thing is, once you get to the gym, you'll probably end up staying and doing a workout. But even if you don't, you just, let's say you just went to the gym and then went straight home, that still would count as a win. And that's because the hard part isn't the workout. The hard part is getting yourself to the gym. And, for me, I use this for meditation. I used to be like everyone else, and I used to think that meditation is not for me. And that's because I was trying to go from 20 plus years of no meditation to trying to meditate for 10 minutes a day. So, what did I do? I lowered the bar for success and I set my goal to just meditate for 30 seconds every single day. And I was able to do 30 seconds every single day. That was now 4 months ago. And I've been meditating every single day. And now I can do it for 7 minutes every single day. So if you want to build good habits, you need to lower the bar for success so that you can stack some wins and build some momentum. If you want to level up your life, you are in the right place. I'll see you next time.